Such a very interesting mix of materials on this Unimat PC Basic lathe. I think in a previous video I already showed this unit here, encased in plastic, contains the transformer and rectifier to change the mains voltage into something like 34 volts DC. I'm just sorting a few things out. I had the belts off. There may be too much lubrication on there for these belts. So what we've got is a cast alloy pulley, stepped pulley on the end of the motor. One for a small tooth belt and one for the larger tooth belts that go onto there. This back gear, as it is, on here. I'm just checking how well that's running on the inner pulley down there. I need to make sure that's right. Anyway, it's not fixed on yet, but a plastic component, a brass insert running on, could be wrong, running on a steel pin fixed into the pressed steel chassis. It's all a pressed steel construction. This is the bit that holds the column. You can see how this is actually made out of a bracket with a hole in, welded onto the back of the pressed steel. I'm not quite sure how the bearings for the headstock are fitted, inserted and aligned in the steel chassis, whether they mill that afterwards. And then on this we have a plastic retaining washer and then a circlip. And then the other thing is I've taken the tailstock off. The tailstock clamps up, and what we see from the tailstock is that, sorry, it's all handheld, we've got a cast aluminium component mostly for the tailstock, but the plate that clamps up underneath is actually a plastic component. If I tap it you'll hear it's plastic, but the clamping force is transferred, I'll just move the circlip off there, by a steel plate which will sit that way around inside the tailstock. And there are one or two chips in here to show it has been used at some stage. So the bearing surfaces that hold the tailstock in position are these ground bedways, you might, I don't know, ground bits in the tailstock, and then just the force transferred from the steel plate through the plastic onto the top or bottom of the steel bars. No adjustment for offset of the tailstock or anything like that. You just have to rely on the fact that it's going to be spot on. We will bring that centre right up to the headstock, just to make sure everything is in line at the front end. There it is. Most of those pulleys on there are plastic. I think it will be an alloy banjo, I think they call it. Dear, focus isn't very good on this, is it? Sorry, there we go. Yeah, alloy banjo. And this handle here, which engages and disengages the drive from these wheels to the longitudinal feed from that screw to allow you to take your cuts under CNC control or automatic cuts, or possibly for your screw cutting if you have the right ratio. Minor thing, I'm not sure whether these hinges were ever meant to be completely enclosed. That's possibly broken. Somebody has tried to effect a repair to the chuck safety guard here, the Perspex safety guard. It's been glued once. There is a screw in here, but it's onto a lock nut inside here, so you can't easily take that off because you can't get to the lock nut on the inside without removing the speed control. And we've seen the bit of surface rust on the chuck, which doesn't seem to be a significant issue.